Alright, hello there. I just thought I'd do a little walkthrough of my board game collection. I've got a bunch of board games, about 500 plus now. Well, that's if you count all the expansions. But yeah, I'll just show. So this is shelf number one. I had a system, but it's gone to shit a little bit. That's all the stuff that's up there. Some stuff here as well. And down there. So this is the first shelf. You can see my housemates. Oh look, there's my comic book collection that badly needs to be sorted. These are all just the stuff that I've been reading recently, stacked up. It depends. I have a top 10 games. I think my favorite game is probably Magic. But I really like Glory to Rome and Lewis and Clark and Through the Ages. You can see Through the Ages here. And I'm just gonna quickly double back. I have 2 copies of Glory to Rome, one in the black box. And I have the original plastic clamshell thing as well, except the cards are all in this box because I've sleeved them. You can see them in there. Most of the time I play the black box edition now, not because I particularly like it, but it's easier to teach people. People tend to get a little bit more invested when it looks that nice. This is shelf number 2, and that's shelf number 3. And you see that little, I'm just gonna double back a bit. That's the minis drawer. So these are the minis for when we play D&D and stuff, which we haven't done in a long time. This is a 4th edition rulebook as well. That is not my award, but this is the free play award given to Rise to Power. Best non-digital game. Actually, I'm gonna... Here we go. There's Rise to Power. Ta-da! It's a really cool game designed by a couple of cool dudes in Brisbane. Back to that. Oh, I have a bunch of board games that I just... face? I don't know. Oh, you want to see the art of that one? That's really cool. Yeah. I was just doing a bunch of unboxings earlier today. And that's all still there. That's Rise to Power. Oh, I think you were asking about Glory to Rome. Okay, let's have a look there. So yeah, if you're asking about Glory to Rome, yes, I do. Actually, one time I left a copy of it with a friend for a while. Yeah, I actually like both. I like the clarity of the old edition. Oh, sorry, it's a bit bumpy. This is a pretty cool game too. I'm just gonna show some of the... I really like the graphic design style. They even have a story and art book. There's some cool building pictures there. But yeah, if you want to see the difference between the 2 editions, this is the old edition that I had. Sorry about the glare. Actually, why is that light on? I'm gonna turn this off. Here we go. That's the old edition. So you can see slightly silly art. And these are the old cards for Glory to Rome. Don't ask me that question about how much. I've had a look at using board game tools before, and it's a scary number. Right, let's see if I can get this open. This is the rule book, and you see the graphic design is much cleaner. Because I store it sideways, got jumbled a little bit. It's alright though. It's largely in the right place. No, it's not that high, but a couple in the tens of thousands. Why are these? This must have been from the last game where we didn't. When they were all sorted. So you can see the art style for this version of Glory to Rome is much more iconic and literal term in that they're pretty much icons. So those are the marble ones. It's rubble. Let's have a look at some of the others. Yeah. Alright. Oh, what's up, Jeevan? Okay, so those are the shelves. This is the newest shelf. I just installed this last month. It's still a mess up there because there's a bunch of magic cards and maps for D&D, and these are some empty boxes. Yeah, I do like reading fantasy. I'm reading The Republic of Thieves right now by Scott Lynch because I really love the Lives of Locke and Gomorrah, I think, and these are all the magic cards. Actually, the cube is right there. It's a unassuming little box. But yeah, I used to have a system. So if you'll notice, these are all the co-op games. Yeah, the second one I didn't really like. The first book was really good, Lives of Locke and Gomorrah, and Republic of Thieves is okay so far. But yeah, I think the first one was the best one. Yeah, so here I used to have all the co-op games. Pathfinder. I had to put Mage Knight there because it's mostly you can play it co-op, but also because it's just a huge box. There's Shadowrun. There's a box of Sentinels, Flashpoint, and a bunch of raid decks from the World of Warcraft trading card game. Actually, my Netrunner decks are there as well. I really love the WoW TCG and I love the raid stuff. I keep trying to convince people to play it because Hearthstone doesn't scratch that raid itch. There's a big box of Castle Ravenloft, which we haven't played in ages because I've just plundered it for beanies. Party games here, and a bunch of party games there as well. And the Alliances box and the Galaxy Tracker box is just because they won't fit anywhere else. More light party games, and a bunch of two-player games, Mage Wars, all that stuff, Pack of Heroes. 101 is a really cool, it's probably my favorite light two-player game at the moment. And if we go back there, okay, this used to be sorted by, well, it used to be, it's kind of still sorted by player, not player count. So these are mainly 5-player games. So you can see there's a few non-5-player games, mainly just because I wanted to store the small boxes somewhere. Still 5-player games here, 5-player games there. One of my favorites, Lewis and Clark. 5-player games. And then here it gets into 6 and more. That's all pretty much 6 or more player games. And up top are all my 4-player games. There. Whoop, sorry. And up top here as well are all the 4-player games. Well, and some amiibo. All 4-player games as well, pretty much. And this is just an unsorted mess. Yeah. And a lot of this shelf is unplayed games. Just stuff mostly that I received from Kickstarter. Well, not all of them, but there's a few there. And that's pretty much it. I don't have Mousetrap, unfortunately. I don't really have that many old classic games. But that's pretty much it. That's the collection. I used to call this the Annex. This is now a new Annex, I guess. And the main shelf. I regret a little bit not going for the 5x5s on these ones. Because 4x4s are nice, but I'm already full up and I have a bunch of games still to come from Kickstarters. And there's a bunch here on the table from the last time we played games. That's pretty much it, really. You notice I also have a little bag of baggies, spare baggies, because I just bagged a bunch of games. Cool. That's it from me. That's my collection. I also do stuff at theactionpointspodcast.com. It's a podcast. I talk about board games and other stuff. Kickstarted, as in they've sent me the games, and there's a bunch that I've received shipping notifications for. Yeah, sure. So this is the podcast that I do with a couple of friends. Well, more than a couple. There's 4 of us, which is the Action Points Podcast. We're at theactionpointspodcast.com and at action_points on Twitter. Yeah, and we talk a lot about board game. Well, I talk a lot about board game stuff, but also video games. As you can see, I have a bunch of consoles and stuff. And obviously there's that huge stack of comics which I really need to sort. Not yet. This is actually one of the few times I'm experimenting with Periscope. Just done a few unboxings and stuff. Hopefully we'll be able to do some broadcasts of gameplay soon. Yeah, pretty much I've just been using like this mics. That's terrible. Yeah, I've just been holding it in my hand and putting it on a boom mic. But once we figure out what's a good way to do it, we might start doing some Let's Plays of board games. Evan's done some of video games, so you can find that on our YouTube channel as well. And I've uploaded our previous unboxing stuff, the first 2 that I ever did, on YouTube as well. So if you search for the Action Points Podcast on YouTube, you should be able to find our stuff. Cool. I think that's it for now. I'm gonna clean up this mess. I've got a big board game. Actually, I'm just packing for a board game event. We got a board game day tomorrow, so I'm figuring out what games to bring. New York 1901 and La Granja are already in the bag. But yeah, that's it. See ya.